Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rico's. I'm your host, Michael. I know I said I'd release a little bit earlier on Wednesdays and last week, and that is obviously not what happened this week. Just because I was busy. I really am going to start trying to do that. So there will be a regularly scheduled episode next week, and also a holiday episode, which I'll be recording from scenic Lake Tahoe. Um, but stay tuned for that. And we'll talk about that a little bit at the end. So this week we're going to talk about gritty reboots, what works, what doesn't work, ones that suck, ones that didn't. YouTube pranks, everyone's favorite thing to make fun of. Uh, and a new segment called Michael's Netflix Corner is what I'm going to call it, or maybe Rico's Netflix Corner. That would make more sense. So come on in, grab a taco and a beer. Let's get started. So, Gritty Reboots. Reboots. It's the new hottest thing in Hollywood. Everyone's trying to do it for anything they can think of. The latest thing that comes to mind is the Power Rangers movie coming out. They tried to do it. It's much edgier. Futuristic, serious. Of course, compared to its origins. Uh, I didn't quite. I kind of grew up on Power Rangers. This is a bit of a tangent. I kind of grew up on Power Rangers. Uh, my older brother was more so the one who got the initial brunt of Power Rangers, but I definitely remember and I really liked it, and the martial arts and the giant robots that probably affected me at a young age, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen the trailer, go see it. It's interesting at the least. But yeah, there's just been this kind of trend of gritty reboots, and I've been wondering. I was sitting trying to think. All right, when did this start? And I keep going to The Dark Knight, the Batman movie, Christopher Nolan, Heath Ledger Joker, um, which is probably my top three films. It's a fantastic film. Um, it I think it started this trend probably just because it was massively successful. Um, Obviously, it's about like a cartoon book or sorry, comic book character, bringing that to the big screen and making it on this kind of gritty, surreal feel. So I think that kind of started it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was trying to think. I couldn't go any further back of ones that were like really successful. So that's while we're talking about The Dark Knight, let's talk about what made it successful. Well, obviously, phenomenal acting. That's definitely always the key. And writing that does not hinder the acting, right? So you want to make sure you have a character in there and something that these actors can work with so they don't end up suicide squatting. So, what makes them work? When you can make it believable, I think. So, The Dark Knight, everything seems reasonable. Well, definitely not. It's like after you watch it 1,000 times, then you're like, okay, does this plan actually make like what? This isn't. Anyways, but presenting it in a way that the first time it seems believable enough, doesn't break the realm of possibility. It doesn't absolutely blow. Like it's not like, oh, that's impossible. So that's very important to keep. Uh, so after that, I feel like another thing that the important is the stakes. You have to make the stakes feel real. You have to have. It has to. I said real twice. By that I mean more of okay, this is real. These people died. These things are important. Stuff is going down. The plot matters. You know, it's capturing them in that story. So it has to be a captivating, real stakes story. And then, honestly, just the way you shoot it. You have to shoot it in a way where the colors and everything, it doesn't feel unnatural. If you need to make things seem darker and put shading on it or something like that, you need to do that subtly. Looking at you, Man of Steel. Looking at you. Um, that's also a big thing. Is also how you shoot it. The cinematography itself definitely matters. Uh, which The Dark Knight has great cinematography. I remember the first time I saw it in IMAX, and it was fantastic. So yeah, I think that's a good example of ways that you can do well, ways that you can kind of mess up. Is well, a lot of these good things, if you push them into excess or if you do them for no reason, you can very quickly end up with a crappy gritty reboot. Man of Steel. I'm looking at you. Um, I liked, let the record state, I liked the first half of Man of Steel. I'm pretty sure I said this in episode 1. I liked Man of Steel until about halfway in. So, what do they do wrong? Often, yeah, they try to make it so, everything sucks. It's all dark and mysterious. They try too hard. That is a really easy way to mess up a gritty reboot. And if you're going with the mentality of I'm going to make a gritty reboot, you're probably going to mess up anyways because you already probably have the wrong idea of what you're even making here. It's not about making a gritty reboot. It's about making a realistic version of this story, right? If you make a realistic version of Batman, it's going to be gritty. If you make a realistic version of Superman, it should not be nearly as gritty. It should still be, the stakes should be high. It should still be serious, but it should not be nearly as gritty or trying to be as gritty. Like that's. I keep saying gritty, and I need to stop. But you really there needs to be a focus on realism instead of edge for edge's sake. It just doesn't make sense to me, at least. So that's really a summary of many of the problems I'd say with gritty reboots. Also, when they just try to copy, you have to be original with it. It has to be something striking and new. You need to have good actors, and you need to let them move on their own. You need to let them come with their personality, especially villains. You definitely in a gritty story, you definitely need strong villains, strong, convincing, compelling villains. Looking at you, Suicide Squad. That it's just rough. You really have to give them something to work with. Same with the hero. You have to make the hero cannot be perfect. They have to be rough around the edges. They have to be believable. They have to seem like a person that could exist in our world. Same goes for the villain. So yeah, that's kind of what I think as far as things that don't make them successful. So let's talk. Let's just keep score. So ones that have gone well, I'd say The Dark Knight went pretty well. On this topic of DC, you guys already know how I feel about Suicide Squad and Batman vs Superman. Drawing a blank on any other hero movies. But anyway, feel free to share with me what you guys think as far as ones what helps, what doesn't, what pushes, what movies you guys think are deserving of good gritty reboot versus maybe they didn't need to do this. Yeah. So second topic, YouTube pranks. So it is always fun to hate on YouTube pranks, especially nowadays. But it wasn't always like that way. I remember the early days of YouTube pranks and just prank videos in general and how it used to be really the thing. Like it was like, I'm going to go to YouTube, drive-through pranks. Okay. Ooh, look, the guy's dressed up as a clown and he's in the drive. That's hilarious. Because all this stuff was so new. Or, oh man, they showed up to the drive-through sitting, like pretending they're in a car. Classic. We even tried that back in high school, middle school. It was great back then, and I feel like it was a lot of actually original content at first, definitely, because people weren't just like there to try and get rich off YouTube. It was like, come look at this ridiculous funny thing, and then it just spread naturally. So what happened? Honestly, I feel like, so YouTube got really popular and then inundated with stuff, and it became increasingly popular. It became this one-upping because obviously it's like, I think one-upping and just like spin-off ideas. So people were like, oh, let's do this. Oh, let's do this. And then, that guy was sitting in the corner. Maybe we should throw something at the drive-through worker, or the guy who was like, maybe we should destroy someone's property, or oh, maybe we should actually traumatize this person. Unfortunately, those kind of people got their hands on things, and then took it in that direction. While that was happening, YouTube was getting really popular. Decided to start monetizing videos, and letting content creators get money. And then people were like, "Oh, I can get rich off this." And so then you have all these fake pranks and all of these stage things and all of these things just for the click, and it just kind of absolutely destroyed it. It absolutely just blew it out of the water, and now everyone's a prankster, and it just absolutely. I used to love pranks. Remy Gaillard doing like the Mario Kart, and it's playing Mario Kart music, and throwing stuff behind him. It was hilarious. Like the harmless drive-through pranks, as I mentioned earlier. It's just a shame to see all that because of one-upping and money. Just everyone's just like, okay, well, forget good original content, and you still see some good stuff. I guess that's the end of what's the future? How do prank videos get out of this? But yeah, it's just like a pandering money grab. You have things like Prank Invasion, which H3H3 turned me on to. And that was just absolutely despicable. This guy was making super fake videos, just trying to sell sex to these kids who somehow, who have access to these phones. They're just like, oh, if you follow my instructions, it's mommy makeout day. If you follow my instructions, you can make out with a mommy. Like, it was like, this is weird stuff. Just messed up. And just trying to mess with these kids and just get views so he can pay for his douchey haircut. It sucks. Something I've kind of seen lately that isn't the worst is the 24-hour challenges. Although those are like, okay, so like the 24-hour Walmart challenge. At first I was like, oh, this is like really interesting. And then I kept seeing all these things and I was like, all right, I hate this now. Because it's, well, okay. In high school, this made sense. And again, these are people targeting these videos towards kids, which is really what YouTube is really become. Like I have realized now in that interaction with most children in the 12 to 16 range that they're all on YouTube now. Everyone's on their phone doing YouTube on their iPads. Like, it's just easy content. It's like almost like watching TV. So it's just how they get their media. So everyone's watching these 24-hour challenges, like, oh, okay, I'm going to do it. Although back in the day, I did that in Walmart back in high school, where you tried to, not to be for 24 hours, but, sneak under and hide in the toilet paper section and the stuff like that. And it was fun and it was cool. But trying to make it into a fad was a little bit, it just got a little bit, like that. There's the guys who did the channel I watch, that's like all they do. And it's a little bit, they go to Costco and they get kicked out every time because Costco's like, we don't have time for your shit. So it just doesn't make sense to me. If that's how you think if that's how you want to create your content, fine. But if you wake up and you're like, I want to be a prank YouTuber, I question you. With pranks, it's just like, just prank your friends and don't be a dick about it. You can video record it if you want, but that's really what's fun. Is messing with people, like friends and family, and do it in a harmless way. Just don't be a dick about it. Make it harmless. Don't damage anyone's property. Don't traumatize anyone. Just fun pranks that are silly and get everyone to laugh, and that's really the fun of it. So, what are you talking about, Michael? Give me an example. All right, I'll give you an example. This is one of my favorite ridiculous, way too elaborate for not even that much payoff pranks. So, I have a friend named Nathan. He works out a lot, and he's a good-looking guy, so he likes to wear tank tops a lot. And there was one tank top in particular that somebody noted him wearing, and this is one summer when we were back in college, where he'd wear it, like semi-regularly, and we were like, one of the friends was like, oh yeah, I saw that at Target. And I was like, oh yeah, yeah, I almost bought it. And that sparked something, I think. It sparked like a series of small little jokes of being like, we should all just go buy, we should get the same tank top as Nathan just to make fun of him. And then I think it was one day after we got out of the movie theater, we were like, I think we were sitting at the Taco Bell right in front of the movie theater, and we were like, Nathan's coming over, he's driving separately, let's all go buy the tank tops and just show up with them. So We go to Target. We all buy these like $12 tank tops, and we're like, okay, how do we do this? So we decided to all put the tank tops on under our shirts. Um, so we all go back inside of our apartment. We're all sitting down, and so there's like 7 of us, and then Nathan. So everyone has their tank tops under the shirts, and Nathan's sitting there with us, and I'm like, how do we get him out of the room? I'm sitting there, and I come up with some crap about, hey man, can you go get my tablet from my room? Because he's already up, grabbing a beer or something, and he's like, yeah, drives there, and I give everyone the signal. We start, taking off our shirts, and everyone has the same blue ridiculous tank top on. I had a small on because they had such limited sizes because we basically cleaned them out, and he comes back in, and we're all giggling because we have the worst poker faces of all time. We're all in the tank top he's wearing. Everyone's laughing, and he doesn't. He just kind of is like, what? He doesn't get it because it's not obvious. Some of the other guys wear tank tops. It's not obvious at first, I guess, and especially with the odd request, he seemed to think that the prank was something to do with the tablet. He was like, "What do you? I don't understand." And we're all. This is obviously causing us to laugh even more. So I'm basically crying at this point because I'm laughing so hard. And then I don't even remember if somebody had to point it out. But the thing is, it was just we couldn't. None of us could explain it because we were laughing so hard. I think he finally caught on, and it was just this. It was again little payoff for the months of not planning, but months of talking about it. But it was just hilarious. You might be like, Michael, that's a dumb prank. That wasn't funny. I didn't laugh. Tank tops, really? When you're with your friends and you're making harmless pranks that are these nice recurring jokes, come on, man, that's funny stuff. But yeah, so that's it for pranks. So let's talk about our new segment, Rico's. I already messed that up twice. Netflix Corner. So this is how the structure of this. This is how I kind of want to do this segment. So we're gonna talk about 3 things you should watch, 3 things that are on my list to watch, and then maybe if you guys give me like suggestions, we'll do like I'll pick one show pilot or movie or specific episode you guys want me to watch per week, and then come back to you and review it. Just kind of like just to get you guys to get some interaction. But yeah, so just something to entertain. So let's talk about 3 things you should watch. If you like anime, which you might be like, Michael, you just said anime. I'm unsubscribing from your podcast. I'm done here. No, anime. Or if you just like fantasy stories, you can deal with a little bit of cheesiness. There is an anime called Sword Art Online that has 2 seasons, and the first season is superb. Basically, the elevator speech is a bunch of people get trapped inside of a MMORPG that's a virtual reality MMO, so they're like completely immersed. They all get stuck in it, and they find out if they die in the RPG, they die in real life, and in order to get out, they have to reach the 100th level as like a collective, like everyone has, like as soon as somebody, it's a collective effort. And it follows our hero Kirito, who is I think 14 or 16. Follows him. He was a beta tester for the game, and kind of follows his journey, his escapades. And it's a very compelling story, I would say. It's really exciting. Some of the action scenes are just awesome, absolutely awesome. Sword play, if you're like, it's super cool. So that's one thing you should definitely watch. Let's see. Another thing you should watch is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Now, I'm gonna preface this with if you get easily offended by things, or even if you get semi-easily offended by things, if you don't like watching dumb humor, and if you don't like watching fake people do fake horrible things, and by horrible things I mean just kind of like, oh, you guys are, if you're just stuff that you will be like, oh man, they are just horrible, but not like, oh my god, that's horrifying, well, they they like to push the limits. But anyways, it stars most probably actors you wouldn't know if you haven't seen the show, and also in the second season, Danny DeVito becomes a cast regular, and he is absolutely hilarious. But yeah, it's a really really funny show. Like 11 seasons on Netflix. Um, Super fun watch. Highly recommend for sure. Um, but yeah. And for my last suggestion, I'm going to suggest actually the sci-fi show Ascension. It is a one season, um, very peculiar sci-fi adventure. It takes place on a spacecraft, giant space colony that is traveling from Earth to a undetermined location to colonize said location over a 100-year journey, and this takes place during year 50. So there have been generations that have born and died on the ship. There's a completely new culture on the ship. So it's lots of intrigue, interesting things, um, power struggles, weird kind of uh, what's the word? Supernatural things that you're looking that are kind of looking in, and just kind of odd mystery thriller, but also very interesting characters. It's just I guarantee that it'll kind of surprise you. It'll be very like this is it is not like many. I have not seen many things like it. And it is definitely not like Passengers, the Passengers movie that came out. Although that's what I first thought of when I heard of the premise of Passengers. Um, but yeah, I think you guys should watch that to recap. Sword Art Online, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and Ascension. Three TV shows that I definitely recommend. Um, so that's it. I don't have anything, obviously, from you guys this week, but hopefully we'll come back. Maybe do this every other week, or just when I get suggestions. We'll see. Um, but yeah, what to expect next? Vacation episode next week. Well, it won't release until after next week. We'll be recording it next week. I'm not sure when exactly it'll release. But we're recording. We'll have two guests, Dusty and Nathan, and yeah. So look forward to that. I'm also probably gonna record some Overwatch, because the Overwatch Lunar Festival, Chinese New Year. I think it's the Chinese New Year holiday. I think it's a Chinese New Year holiday event. It came out, and so you can get new loot boxes, new skins, and so I'll be playing a little bit more. There's a capture the flag mode that's been interesting to play, and so yeah, so that'll be a nice little segue to show you guys Overwatch. That'll be posted on YouTube, and I'll post it on the podcast page, but in a different format, so you guys know it's not a new episode. You guys can follow me at facebook.com/Rico's Podcast, and find the YouTube channel from there, or search Rico's Podcast on YouTube. You should be able to find it. You can follow me on Twitter directly at Michael J. Millen. We'll be on Google Play and iTunes soon, I hope. I need to sit down and work on that. I'll be uploading the audio from these videos to SoundCloud as well, just so we have it all there. But yeah, that's it for this week. Until next time, take it easy.